Okay, so a lot, and I'm going to start recording. Hopefully my internet will work. I had to go reset it and all the things because, country life. Okay, so I did not, we all envision of what Hawaii is going to look like until we get there, and it's completely different. And the other thing is, I had no idea of what I was, like I had no expectations of what it was going to be like. I just knew, okay, free trip to Hawaii. I didn't know they literally go above and beyond. I guess, stalked all the diamonds. I just stalked their page and saw what they did, but I didn't look at their stories. And the stories are really the hidden behind the scenes things that are happening all the time there. So, for instance, we have night drops. Did not know about night drops. That was an awesome thing to be surprised about. So I know I just told you, but expect night drops because that would have been nice to know because you just get extra perks. And so, for instance, they one night they dropped like little turtles, like from Hawaii turtles, and then other things each night. But I'm going to give you kind of the setting. So when you walk in, they put a lei on you, and anybody that you have with you. Decide to take your family, they're going to put leis on you, which was a really cool experience. So you're walking in, they treat you, wine and dine you. You're going to have all the fancy waters and all the things. Go to your room. They have a welcome reception. The welcome reception is food galore. If you are a foodie like I am, I'm grateful I did not gain a lot of weight because there is some good food there. So you walk in, you have a welcome reception and all the things. And really, there's only 2 training days. One is a key speaker day, and I did not realize that we had a key speaker. Again, did not know all the things. I just was excited to be there. And that was Bethany Hamilton. So if you guys saw that, she's the one that had the shark attack and all the things. And if you know Brooke Hemingway, she had no idea. And she stood up and was screaming when she realized that's who was coming out on stage because they were starting to talk about her and things. And her husband went insane. What is neat about Brooke Hemingway is she's from Hawaii. So she had no idea that she was coming. Her story is very impactful. So if you don't know Bethany Hamilton, she's the one that got a shark attack and now speaks, but she also does ministry in ways that I never expected. So she also helps other amputees, other children, usually girls, because they are the hardest to deal with an amputee. And so she has a huge ministry for that, all the things. It's just, I think when I got there, I just was amazed at how relaxed and different it was than leaders retreats. So like Tiffany on leaders retreats, it's go, go, go. It's, you're getting all great info. You're trying to see people as you come, where here it's completely different. That was the first thing Jason said. It's like everybody's so chill and laid back because it's truly vacation. You truly have time to just chill. So I'm going to give you a few quotes that stood out when I was there. So one of them said, I don't need easy, I need possible. And then Genevieve said, let me go to this one. Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient enough for tomorrow. I'm going to say that one more time. Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient enough for tomorrow. So lots of good quotes, and I'm gonna dive in because y'all, I took so many notes when I was there because 1, Tarl is phenomenal. 2nd, we know Alec is phenomenal. We had wonderful just times with people that you would never think, like Jill Renfro. I just stopped her and I didn't want to be rude or anything. And I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey girl, tell me about yourself, all the things. It was nice to be able to, all these people that we followed for several years, to sit back and just talk to them face to face. And you don't, at Leaders Retreat, you really don't get that small interactions like you do there. There is completely different. It's just, I don't know, it's mind blowing. And I cannot wait for you guys to experience it. So one of the trainings that was done was the Instagram training that I sent you guys. That was Rebecca Folks and Kristen Abart. They gave us this right here. It's called Finding Your Ideal Customer. So this one right here, this ideal customer, is questions to help you identify them. So Kristen said, she was up on stage and she's like, everybody knows who my Julie is. And and everybody raised their hand that knew who Julie was. Julie was a person to her she made up, but she knew what characteristics she wanted as a dream team member. And in those characteristics were those 10 things, but she broke it down to the bare minimum things, very specific. And that's what this is. I'm going to send you a screenshot of this in a minute. So like, what do they value most in life? What are their hobbies? What and where do they hang out? What type of lifestyle do they live? What brands do they like? Like all the things. She's like, my Julie, I knew she had dark hair. I knew she was a mom. I knew that she liked to be at the gym. Like, think of that. Like for me, I'm going for gym moms that aren't trying to pretty themselves up or be buff. They are just stay-at-home moms that are putting health first in priority and moving forward. And she got specific as even eye color. So I want you to think about those characteristics of your dream team members and really write those down to the bare bones, layer by layer. The other thing that they talked about was your why. We know this, like, come on, we know what our why is, but sometimes we're superficial with our why. We forget the deep, true meaning. We forget to peel it layer by layer. And it was eye-opening on again, we all know that sometimes there's one training that we've seen, we see it again, and it's like lightning bolts. It's exactly what happened. So I want you to think, it says, so 10 characteristics. You're going to think about these 10 people and layer by layer, but you're also going to figure out your why. Because if you don't figure out your why, it's going to be muddled and your branding is going to be muddled. So if you can't figure out your why, your passions are not going to shine through. Think of it this way. If you are trying to figure out what to post about, you're like, oh, Cassie, I have no idea. And we talked about this a year ago when we did the 5 pillars. If you weren't there with us then, the 5 pillars are your 5 passions or 5 characteristics that you are deep into. For instance, I love the gym, you know, I'm a homeschool mom, and break those down. But when you break those down even layer by layer, you're going to find those dream team members too, and you're going to find easier posting in that. And the other thing they talked about, which was so true, passionate people are contagious. You want to be around more passionate and positive people because they're the most successful. And I'm going to go into that. Let me go back to that. Oh, I'm going to mute you, Hannah. Sorry. I'm going to try. Okay, I got you. Okay. Where was I at? Let me just go back to this. So the 10 characteristics, you're doing your why, you're doing your pillars, you're figuring that out. So I want you to write this down. What you focus on expands. I'm going to say that again. What you focus on expands. It was said so many times while we were there because it's so true. If you're going to focus on the negativity and everything that's going in your life, it's going to expand. Your negativity is going to dwindle in everything that you do. If you are more positive, you're more likely to bring positive people to you. You're likely to be more contagious by other people. You're likely also to be more successful because more people are going to see that passion and that drive that you have. Think of it when we first started Plexus. When we did our first post, did we care? Were we passionate? Were we reaching out like crazy and vomiting Plexus to everybody? I know I was. My reaching out was ridiculous. My reaching out was, hey, do this with me. And I never let anybody talk. I was going insane because I was passionate, so passionate enough that I could care less of what people thought of me. So I want you to think about that when you're posting. Be passionate, and find that passion behind so that when you're in a valley, because trust me, a lot of us have been in valleys lately. I get it. But the one thing that spoke to me that somebody said there was like, we can stay in the victim mindset or we can get ourselves out of the valley, because most people are going to come to you if you are positive, and your people are going to follow you if you're getting out of those valleys. So let me go into that right now. Let me turn this off. Okay, so clarity. When we talk about our why, that's what we're going to be passionate about. So for instance, Jessica Heffley was like, I'm not freaking passionate about a pink drink. I'm passionate about the time freedom that I'm getting. I'm passionate about being with my family. I'm passionate about all of those things. And she said, that's what I focus on when I'm posting. So if I feel like I'm in a funk or in all the things, then I'm going to find passion back in those areas that I can start sharing about. Because again, what you focus on expands. And she said, sometimes we just don't want to do the hard things. All of us know that. Sometimes we wake up and we don't want to do, the hard things, and going to the gym or going to work or having to take care of our kids or having to take, and cook dinners or all the things, but we do it because we have to. Sometimes we have to do the hard things. So we've got to change that mindset and fight for it. Fight for something that is going to keep you going. So another thing that they talked about was, and I said this kind of in the beginning, happier people are more successful. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a valley. All of us are going to suck and be crappy at times, like for real. We're all going to have struggles. But the difference that how we're going to make that is whether we're going to stay in that mindset or get out of that mindset. So 3 things about happier people and positive people. They're more positive, they're problem solvers, and they are proactive. So think of it this way. When you are more positive, like we said earlier, you're contagious. People want to be around you. When you are more proactive, you're finding solutions to when you're problem solvers, you're finding things that you can problem solve with. Like, let's say an obstacle comes your way and you're like, what in the world? I can't believe I can't believe this, or I'm so lonely, or this is just hard, or this just sucks, whatever. You identify it, you have your pity party for a hot 5 seconds, and then you are moving that guilt and that shame and that avoidance and that whatever you are dealing with, and you're moving it aside, and you're going to find something positive to find in that valley. If not, you're going to stay in it. And this was another amazing talk that we had that I'm so grateful for, because we have to find ways to problem solve. If we're not going to problem solve, then we're going to stay in the funk that we're in all the time. So, explore. You can, so like, let's say, like right now, a lot of us, we are stuck. We have no idea what we're going to do. We have no idea where we're going to go, all the things. So in what I wrote down, explore. You help and you find processes and ways to ask questions. You are almost like you're fishing. You are fishing for answers. You're going to find something and some way to get out of where you're at right now. For instance, I don't have Jana. I don't have, Carissa is hardly there, but I don't stay in that victim mindset. I'm asking sideline sisters. I'm doing all the things that I can possibly to help and grow when I'm in a funk. So you've got to find those things that get you out of that in that time frame that you're having. So the proactive, it says, the best possible person of yourself does the hard things. You can't be Jesus, but you can be Moses. And I'm going to say that again. You can't be Jesus, but you can be Moses. If you think of it, Jesus wanted to save everybody. He did amazing things. We can't save everybody. What we can do is we can be Moses. So if you are getting to where you feel like, well, I'm trying to help everybody, I'm trying to do all the things, and try to be Moses in this, because Moses guided people. You can't keep doing all the things. You guide and release, because they're just going to have to find what motivates them inside. And so be Moses in that certain situation. So you're going to find and give them a location and steer them in the right way and direct them. So if you have teammates that are struggling, be Moses to them and let them figure that out in some areas. Because you aren't going to be happy every single day, and neither are them, until they find that one thing that sets that light switch off. And when you don't have the motivation, it's because something else is out of alignment. So I'm going to say it one time. When you don't have the motivation, it's because something else is out of alignment. So the guilt, the shame, the avoidance, all the things that sometimes we feel, it's because something else is happening inside of us, and we are. Y'all, I was like preaching and getting ready and stuff, and then all of a sudden my computer's like, peace out.
Do you have a storm?
No. Like, my internet just sucks. Like, it
Maybe
really
you
does.
had storm.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Welcome to my life. It stinks. Okay. Anyway, so pretty much out of the whole scenario that we got was when you are stuck and you are, trying to find your getting out of it. I'm telling you, like Jill Renfro, she's the only one sometimes that gets me out of my funk. And if I have to listen to a Jill Renfro video 100 times, I for sure heck will, to get out of funks. And I think that a lot of us are in funks right now. And I can guide you, and a lot of us can help you in certain areas, but you're going to have to find that one thing to problem solve to get you out of that funk and out of where you're at this moment. And that was so eye-opening, because I kept trying to be like, well, Carissa, help me. Well, or, all these sidelines, help me figure out what's going on, or help me do this. I had to figure it out for myself, because I know my team best. I know where I'm avoiding, where I'm struggling, where I'm having all of these issues, guilt, shame, and things. And so I've got to figure that out. And so, I really liked this one. Don't be captive, because that's not what God called you to be and who God called you to created to be. So don't be captive in the feelings and the shame and everything that you're having right now. If you are staying captive in that moment, you've got to realize that He created you for a better purpose and something better in this life. So be positive. It is to look at things from a vision standpoint of what Christ has us for here. Not getting wrapped up in all of the negativity and sitting in it and expecting it as it comes. Getting to the meaning of the why and why you're feeling the way that you are. You change the meaning from that and you will have freedom. So I'm going to say that again. You can change the meaning from what you are at right now and have freedom from that. People will be more active to you. People will be more confident around you. You will be more confident. You will have more freedom. You will have more passion, because you've been released from all of that guilt, that shame, that avoidance, that negativity when you release it. And the last thing that they had talked about was comparison. And we do it all the time. We compare left and right, like, my story is not this, or I'm silver and I can't go gold, or I'm this and that. And, we have to really have those blinders on. And people say it all the time, but we really, truly have to believe it. Like, your story is your story, and we have to own it, and we have to and push forward and believe in it. Because again, like I said in the beginning, what you focus on expands. And that's what we're talking about a lot at the retreat this weekend, is because we have to focus on positive things and things that are helping us in our future, our families, our life, and everything. Because if we focus on things that are not moving us in the right direction, then we're never going to move in the right direction. You're going to be sitting exactly where you're at all the time, because what you focus on expands. So y'all, I'm telling you that Hawaii was so life-changing. It was exactly what I needed. After convention, I felt, a lot of us, after convention, we were like, all right, that was a lot of great information. And then a lot of us took breaks. I know I did. I was just like, okay, so overwhelmed with all the things, so many things going on. And that's another thing that I just sent to, Plexus. I said, I feel like we need to go back to where we were when it was just triplex and just a few things in promotions and all of that I feel like it's too much going on at this point. And I'm really hoping that they'll listen, because at Hawaii, it was night and day difference. And I cannot wait for you guys to experience it. But what I want you to get out of this too is figure out your ideal customer. That was one thing that was so amazing at when Rebecca Folks talked about that. Like, she knew her, not Rebecca, but Kristen Abar, she knew her Julie. She down to the near-gritty of what she would even wear and what kind of high heel shoes she would wear. You're really going to think about those characteristics of those 10 people, or those 10 characteristics of that one person. And then you're going to figure out your why. So when you're posting, your why's not muddled. It's not jumbled up and not knowing what I'm going to post about. What am I passionate about? If you don't even know what you're passionate about, then sit back and start writing things. Start writing things down that you enjoy. What brings you joy in your life? If joy in your life is your family, write it down. If traveling is a joy in your life, write that down and figure out on the surface level, okay, that brings me joy, but dig deeper. Okay, now traveling, what out of that traveling brings you passion? What is going to be passionate that you're going to be sharing about so highly that you forget everything else? And because that's going to be contagious to the people watching you and following you. So figure out that, your why, your characteristics, and your 5 pillars so you can start posting on days you don't want to. Because again, leaders duplicate, leaders do the hard things, and leaders influence and change lives. So I hope that that exercise and all that helps you guys. I mean, there's a ton more, but like, just, I don't know. What do y'all have questions about on Hawaii? Because y'all, it was, like I said 100 times, amazing. And I'll say amazing because that's my word. But it really was. Anybody? Hannah, I knew you heard most of that from last night's call, but hopefully you gained a little bit something different today.
I think it wasn't so much as like the experience of being there. I think I was wanting to know like about the training and um, I guess just where we're going from here.
Yeah. Well, the training, so we only had one training. That was what I just shared. And so that training was the Instagram and that. The rest was free time. And then other than the key speaker, Bethany, she came and just kind of told her story about, she could have let that shark attack, stop her, but she didn't. She got back in the water and she moved forward. And she did it just a few days after she got out of the hospital. Experience-wise, I think it was I mean, you guys know a little bit about my husband's story, not very supportive. And Hawaii, he got to talk to a lot of other guys that he never did at Leaders Retreat. And he truly enjoyed the fact that it was more chill and he got to know people more on a one-on-one basis. And it wasn't like, oh, there's Sarah Marble, like, she's a diamond and, you don't feel like you can't talk to her. She will come up to you and she will talk to you. And so I felt like that experience alone was eye-opening we all know they're people, but just so different. I loved all the details. And if you haven't been to Leaders Retreats, Hawaii has a lot of details. They give you a bag. They plaster plexus everywhere, all over the hotel. Their food, their condiments, everything is phenomenal. They truly take care of you. And the other thing is Alec and Tara will come up to you several times because there's not a lot of people there. I was surprised. I mean, I knew there wasn't a lot of jewels, but technically there was really only about 400 of us. So out of 400, I got to see Tara and Alec a lot. And so if I had questions or concerns or anything like that for them, I asked them and they were right there as if, you were just that person that, you could talk to. But it's just there. It's hard to explain until you're there. It's just so life-giving. What else do y'all have about Hawaii?
I don't really have anything because I've not been to Leaders Retreat, so I was like with Tiffany as far as training, and I didn't know, like I have no idea what to expect for either, so
Yeah.
well, I don't have any questions.
Yeah. So Leaders Retreat, I'll back up. So Leaders Retreat is kind of way more upscale, I feel like, than Hawaii. And I know that's going to sound crazy, but there's a lot more people. There's a lot more trainings. You're go, go, go. There is constant people everywhere. And you're being asked a lot of questions, but it's fun. You still have great experiences. You have, dance experiences. You have dinners and all the things, where Hawaii's not that. You have one dinner. You have the luau, and that's always on the last night. And that's the only thing that I knew about Hawaii. You have a welcome reception, which is just hors d'oeuvres. You walk in, they have a breakfast, and then they have the luau, and that's it. The rest is your time to have vacation, your time to relax, your time to talk to sidelines and learn more about, their business and how things are going. It is just it's 9-day difference. So with Leaders Retreat, I mean, Tiffany, how would you explain Leaders Retreat?
I think I would just explain Leaders Retreat is putting yourself with like-minded people in the same position as you, because if you earn your spot at Leaders Retreat, those are the people that are kind of on the same level as where you're at and where you're going, same goals. I personally didn't feel, this will be my 4th Leaders Retreat, and I don't ever feel like I've been go, go, go. I always feel like there's a lot of downtime, but there's really good training, but they give you time to really find outside sources other than your team. Where at convention, I feel like if you're not at a training, you're walking across the casino to go change for another event or whatever. I feel conventions more go, go, go than Leaders Retreat. Yeah. But I do feel that Leaders Retreat's completely different because, like I said, you're on a same playing field. Everyone's kind of at the same level. There's not going to be, where at convention you have your jewels and then you have your ambassadors, and they never mesh, it seems like, at convention, where at Leaders Retreat you're all kind of at the same level.
Yeah. Well, at Leaders Retreat,
does that make sense,
Yeah,
Erica?
it does, because Leaders Retreat is leaders. Convention is everybody as a whole. Here, you have somebody that just started and they don't know how to lead or do anything yet. But at convention, at Leaders Retreat, those are people that are digging deep in their business and earned their spot because they are a leader. And so you're, like Tiffany said, you're gonna have like-minded people that are seeking and willing to work and do all the extra things. But yeah, I agree with, I think just coming from Hawaii, maybe that is the difference with Leaders Retreat. You could say there's almost like a scale. So you have convention where it's go, go, go. Leaders Retreat, you get lots of training, good things. You still have some downtime, but it's still on parties, and you have, usually it's they usually do a Halloween party. I don't know if they're doing that this year. Are they? Do you know, Tiffany?
About the Halloween, I heard they're not doing the Halloween thing. They're doing the USS Midway for the opening, and then they'll have a big party at the end. But I heard it's not going to be a Halloween party.
Gotcha. Well, with Leaders Retreat, they go all out. So it's they are catering to you. Convention is, they're catering to you, but it's not the same. When you're at Leaders Retreat, you're there for a specific reason. So they're going to give you more. So certain trainings that you need, certain breakouts, all the things for the level where you're at. Where Hawaii, there's not that. It is 2 trainings and that is it. And it's for everybody in the room. And I loved that Charles said, let me see if I can find it.
Leaders Retreat, they don't do breakout sessions. That's just at convention. Leaders Retreat, everyone does the same trainings because they want everyone to get the same thing.
But they have I thought the diamonds break out and stuff too at Leaders Retreat.
Diamonds and stuff? Well, it's just for senior rubies and below.
Yeah. Oh, what am I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
They changed it. I know. They changed it.
I think you're talking about convention.
Girl, my brain is so mush lately. It is insane. Yeah. Let me find what Charles said really quick. Here we go. Here's some more quotes I had written down. When we pursue our passions, we can overcome and live unstoppable lives. Sharing your story can change lives and bring hope. Hard times don't last. Find your voice in your stories, and in that, you can encourage and inspire others to become. And a lot of that was from Bethany. But Tarl and Alec, they said, remember, you're here not because of you, but because of others. And it's so true. So I am so grateful for that experience, and I cannot wait for you guys to have that same experience. I think just when you sit back and truly believe it, like I had Emerald written down everywhere I was at. I've had this thing, sitting here forever. I had something in my kitchen written out, in my kitchen so I could see it daily when I was cooking. I had it on my phone. I had it everywhere. Like it was engraved in me. And I knew one day it was going to happen. And there were several years that passed by and it wasn't happening. I'm kind of like, I talked to Brooke Light a lot and we were in the same boat. And, that comparison game is hard. But once you get past that and get there, you just realize it's so worth it. It's so worth when the timing is for you. So I can't, it's phenomenal. All right, Tiffany and Jennifer, what in the world? I'm calling y'all out. What is going on?
The call is being recorded, so I cannot say.
Do what?
The call is recorded, so I can't say.
Okay, let me stop.